Hi, everyone. It's Amanda Reer Green. Welcome to Soul Sessions. Today, we're going to dive into the master number 22. We're going to talk some numerology. We're going to talk frequency, vibration, and we're going to talk numbers, and especially how to tap into that frequency. If you listened a while back to the master number 11, where I discussed the energy of the 11, which is the interconnection between the human and the spiritual. It's where you find your intuition, your insight, the interconnection between the human you and your higher consciousness. The master builder, which is called the 22. And I know a lot of you are familiar with that number because you see that number often. You see the number 22 or 222 or 222 on your clock or in different places. You're familiar with that. It is a master number. And what does master number mean? It means that it has a more profound, powerful impact. The master builder, the 22, is the frequency of the 4 taken up a notch. So when we talk about master numbers, if we're talking about the 11, 1 plus 1 equals 2. So 2 is the base or the root frequency of the energy of the 11. And with master numbers, it's not about being and living all the time in that energy. It's the ability to access it, interpret it, and really experience it. The 11 and the 22 are very different in the way that they ask us to integrate the information. So with the 11, and if I would encourage you to go back and listen to the podcast on the master number 11, and there's a blog that accompanies that, it will help you harness and tap into the 22 with greater ease. So start there. The 22, of course, is comprised of the number 2 and 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. So when you think about the energy of the 22, the master builder, you are first really tapping into its root or base frequency, the 4. And the 4, draw a 4 on your piece of paper, draw it in the air with your finger. The 4 is linear. It is like a graph or a grid. It is about order, process, quality, step by step organization. It also denotes stability, solid foundations, and not compromising busyness over efficiency or effectiveness. It is extremely quality and goal focused. The 4 is also a frequency or a number that relates to the material world. The 2 does not. The 4 is material, the 2 is ethereal. So when you have the 22 combination and draw a 2 in your mind's eye or on your paper, the 2, it's curvy at the top and it has a solid base. So you draw a 2 and at the bottom of the 2 is that straight line. With the master builder, you have this straight line. So use your imagination or write it down on your piece of paper and think about it really through your mind's eye and visually. The 22 is about a solid foundation because at the bottom of it, there's a straight line. There's a solid foundation there. But at the top of the 22, where there's the curvature of the 2 twos, it is more creative. It's spontaneous. It has a more empathic or emotionally sensitive quality to it. And of course, many of you have been into numerology for a while. You know some of your ins and outs with the single digits, the numbers 1 through 9. The 2 is all about relationship, connection, connectivity, giving and receiving, learning through polarity, learning through opposites, finding the middle way. So when you have 2, 2, it says it asks us very delicately yet emphatically to take action on our intuition. So 22 is called the master builder for a reason. It's an archetypal number that is denoting sacred architecture. And what I mean to convey by sacred architecture is the 22 builds from the soul. It's not building something in the material world for just this lifetime. It's building something that is connected to destiny, legacy, and many lifetimes beyond itself. If I lost you right there, that's the energy of the 22 because the 22, and if you have a 22 in your personal numerology, if your life path adds up to a 22, if your attitude number does, if you're born on the 22nd, if your soul urge number is a 22, that number within you, it denotes that deep within your soul, you came here to build something, to be the architect of something in your material world that is going to leave a lasting legacy or imprint much after you have lived your time on this earth. Does that sound like it's heavy and a lot? Yeah. The 22, it's like 2 entrees. You know? The 22 is like saying, "I'm gonna have the spaghetti and I'm gonna have the fettuccine." Like, that's just a stomachache waiting to happen, right? Like, and that's what it should feel like at times because the 22, it can feel like a heavy weight in its energy field on its shoulders because it knows it is destined for greatness and it can get very lost in the shadow of perfection or running out of time or this sense of mastering everything that it does and forgetting to enjoy the journey, having fun along the way. So the 22, let's say you're driving and you see the frequent like you see a 22 on your clock, 222 or you see 22 on your odometer or whatever it may be. You see repeating twos. The 22 is usually saying, are you taking action? Are you stuck right now? Are you stubborn? Where are you not taking action? It's asking you to do something tangible because the energy of the 22, it's like a divine architect. And it is about mastering, not that we perfectly master anything, but it is about really being the master of the physical world. So it's like a chess game. It's a chess match. That's the energy of the 22, but it designs. It's the architect from something on a soul level, inspirational, divine inspiration, and then resourcefully, and that's the key word with the 22 is resourcefulness. Resourcefully utilizing its resources, meaning its human resources of relationship, friendship, collaboration, receiving advice or insight when in doubt, and taking that information, crystallizing it into wisdom, and then putting it into action in a solid plan. The 22, again, it's a lot. It's a double entree. It's a lot of work, but it doesn't have to feel that way. And again, if you do have a 22 in your personal numerology and you can feel that internal pressure that kind of you carry around within yourself, that's what it is. But it's also asking you to dream, to trust divine timing. Because additionally, next to resourcefulness with the energy of the 22 is resolve. It's not just a determination. It's more like, I know that I am designed to contribute something worthwhile that is going to leave a lasting impact. And I trust that I will have the resources to do it. So it's like being this cosmic engineer that dreams their dreams into matter, into reality. So it doesn't just dream, it builds, and it builds practically, and it builds through collaboration. A great example of the energy of the 22, I'm going to give you a couple of examples of when I know that I am in that frequency. And that's what I want you all to look for, is not just looking for the number 22, recognizing when you're in the 22 frequency. One of the things that I often share, like with crystals, is, let's say you want to work with some pyrite and you don't have a piece of pyrite. You don't have to have a piece of pyrite in your hand to work with the frequency of pyrite. You tap into, oh, pyrite creates empowerment. It's about abundance. It's connected to my solar plexus and shining my light from the inside out. Just the recognition of the frequency of that mineral, that crystal, you can tap into it. It's the same with any number frequency or number code that you're working with. So with the 22, even if it is not in your numerological blueprint, you can work with it. You can tap into it. So here are examples of when I recognize I'm in the 22 frequency. One simple example is when I am needing support and I really can't find the answers, or I can see myself in struggle or consternation and fear around a circumstance or situation. And I recognize that I'm in my own way, meaning Amanda is not going to create solutions from the problems she created in her own mind. It's kind of like Einstein. If you do what you did, you'll get what you got, which is insanity. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So when I recognize that I am not going to be the creator of the solution to the problem I've created, I think, oh, I better reach out and ask for help, ask for input, ask for advice. When I go to do that, just the act of reaching out to someone I trust, a trusted friend, advisor, confidant, one of my siblings, whomever it may be who feels like they can offer me space and solution or hold that space for me, that to me is the frequency of the 22. It's recognizing that I'm in my own way and I need someone else to hold space. The second piece to that, because of course there's gonna be a part 2 because it's 22. The second piece to that is being open to the information or the feedback that I receive, whether I like it or not. So being in a place of healthy vulnerability, willingness to ask for help, start there, willingness to ask for help, and a state of openness or receptivity to take the cotton out of my ears and to close my mouth and listen to the feedback. This happened for me a couple of days ago. I called a dear friend and I shared some information that was going on. And she said to me, Amanda, what I hear you saying over and over again is this. And I was like, gosh, I did say that over and over again. I didn't mean it that way, but I sure did say that over and over again. And I couldn't quite understand or pinpoint it, but I recognized that she was really listening to me. And she was hearing the way that I was communicating something in a way that I couldn't communicate it. I just needed to talk. By allowing me to talk, she was listening to the words I was using, and she said, this is really great too. She said, "And Amanda, when you say that, your voice goes into this really high-pitched frequency and you're talking really fast." Y'all know that I talk fast anyway. On a on a good day, I talk fast, but she says, "Your voice is going into that high-pitched tone and you keep saying this over and over again." And I'll go ahead and just share with you all what it was. Like, I wasn't gonna share it, but I'm like, "Okay, I'll just share it." I just kept saying, "But I'm alone. I think I'm alone. I know I'm alone." I kept alone. And I said, I know I'm not alone, but I'm alone, right? And she said to me, you're not alone. And I said, I know I'm not alone, but I'm alone. And it was the word alone. And the funny part is, if y'all listened to the podcast a few weeks ago on Saturn moving into Aries, and I talked about this deep sense of aloneness, not loneliness, but feeling solitary and alone. It was funny because I didn't go into that whole diatribe with her. I didn't go into astrology when she said that to me, but that the light bulb went off and I was like, "Oh, Saturn's in Aries. I'm alone." And it again, she said, "You're not alone." But she says you do operate in a way where you know how to stand on your own 2 feet. And the decision resides within you and your higher power, the discernment, so to speak. But she says, "But you keep saying I'm alone and you're not alone." And I couldn't hear myself saying that. I needed that reflection, and that's what the energy of the 22 is. It provides reflection, and once you get that information, what are you gonna do with it? And so after that conversation, and again, this is part of the 22, it's about listening, openness, and then a willingness to take action. And my action has been I recognize I may feel alone at times, but I am not alone. God, show me that I am not alone. Help expand my language and my outlook to recognize I am not alone. And that in and of itself, that's the master builder. So sometimes the action can be a change in perspective and taking it to heart, or the action can be reaching out to someone you've been avoiding because it's time to make amends, or it's time to really address something that has been creating some sort of pain or disease. Or maybe there is a business you are wanting to start that has been buried deep in your soul, instead of just it being a dream in your heart and it being so overwhelming or feeling exceptionally unrealistic in your logical, literal mind. It's taking some sort of action, meaning doing the research or asking questions or asking for guidance and support, networking, so to speak. Another simple example of the energy of the 22, and I've used this example before, but I think it encapsulates the master frequency of the 22 very well, is being in a job that you feel you don't love anymore, or it's not the right fit for you, and staying in that job, that environment or dynamic, and staying in it too long to where it becomes dysfunctional, toxic, unhealthy, suffocating, soul crushing, whatever it may be, and staying in that loop and not taking action around it, not thinking you can take action, believing you are stuck and not doing something about it. And my guidance for that is update your resume. And while this sounds like a simple, stupid analogy, and I don't mean anything is stupid or just simple, but I know for me, there have been plenty of times in my life I have been maybe stuck in a professional position and I've complained about it for 6 months rather than updating my resume. So it's the 22 is astute. It knows when to take action, even if the doors don't open yet. So just the updating of the resume cultivates new energy. It demonstrates to the universe that you are open, willing, and ready. There are definitely some blind spots or shadow aspects of the 22 that can really catch you off guard. Overwork and workaholism is a number one because the 22 is here to build something great. It's here to build a great pyramid. I mean, think about the great pyramids or incredible cathedrals that were built over, 20 or 30 years. The pyramids, even longer than that, potentially. That's the energy of the master builder. And because that frequency is so destined, not just determined, destined to build something, it can work itself to the bone. It will be burnout. It will be angry and small. It will close itself off from its divine spark and creativity. So balance, I mean, hello, 2 and 2, we know that that number is about balance, balance and harmony. If the master builder does not incorporate balance, it will shut itself off from the divine insight, and then it goes straight into the 4 energy. One thing at a time, get it done, box checking mode, which is necessary, but the 22 is about the divine spark, so it's building from the soul. It's how mastery walks in human form, essentially. So overwork is a big blind spot. Stubbornness and rigidity. I got this. I don't need help. I'm not going to delegate it. You can't do it as good as I was. Control freak energy. That is a big one. And that control freak energy or stubbornness and rigidity limits spontaneity, the ability to change your mind, to change your heart, to change the blueprint. Let's say you are building something and you start building it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, this isn't what I'm building. I got to tear this down and start from scratch. That's the master number 22. It's not afraid to start building something great and then get halfway through it and say, shoot, this was the dress rehearsal. This was the dress rehearsal. Scrap it and let's go again. That's the 22 has stamina because it's connected to greatness. So it will scrap something and rebuild, but also in a very respectable, mature way. Another blind spot would be lack of collaboration. Again, that stubbornness of not asking for help, not being open to help, forgetting to collaborate as equals because it can become a little bit of a tyrant. And the 22 is sensitive. It cares. It's got a kindness to it. And I know that may sound almost diabolically different from what I've been sharing about the 22, but the 22 is sensitive and it cares. It wants things to matter. It wants the divine spark of inspiration. So it's sensitive. So it needs connection and collaboration. It needs equal partners to come in and offer their time, their talents, so it can shine in its own talents. So there's pure collaboration, which the word for that would be communion. Like the 22, apart from working hard, let's call it, and building something, it's really devotional. It's about communion. It's like a sacred marriage. It's the mystic or the divine mason. It's masonry. It needs people and teams and connection. So lack of collaboration or willingness or open to see other people's viewpoints, accept other people's talents is huge. And on the backside, and this is like the neon light for you to recognize that you are maybe not tapping into the frequency of the 22 if you're wanting to understand it or access it, is straight up competition. And I think as in sharing this energy and the 22 and why it feels so profound right now to connect with this frequency is competition is exhaustive. I would much rather pure collaboration, support, equanimity, synergy than competing, whether it's competing with someone else or competing with yourself. That is a losing battle. It's exhaustive. It's never ending. And we then get to we miss the journey We miss the flowers along the way. So when you find yourself competing or comparing, and a lot of us do that, especially with social media. And so many of us have detoxed that mindset. And so many of us haven't. And there's no right or wrong to it. It's just recognizing where social media or comparison can really become unhealthy internally. And it's a yucky feeling, right? Like it just doesn't feel whole, good, or uplifting. It actually feels exhaustive and like we're running behind or we're not doing enough. The 22 says, quit competing and just be you. Everybody else is taken, just be you. Show up with your divine talents and gifts. So, also remembering that a shadow would be perfectionism, that while there is this divine architecture in the energy of the 22, it's not about perfectionism, it's about divine design, collaborating with your soul and your guides, your human resources, your physical resources, and your innate talents, and making your dreams real. Making your dreams real, dreaming your dreams into reality through action, through dedication, through a reverence of resolve, so to speak. And it's complex. The 22 is much more complex than the 11. And of course, the numbers are sequential, they build in their lessons. But the 22, if you're wanting to work with the 22 or this resonates with you deeply, maybe if you're a 4 attitude or a 4 life path number and you're like, I want to take it up an octave, I would suggest starting with who are your people that you feel in sync with? Recognizing 2 or 3 people that you can pick up the phone or reach out to and you can share yourself with. You can share your joys and your sorrows alike and you feel seen. And where you can be that person for someone else. So if you do have a 4 in your energy field and you want to work with the energy of the 22, which really taps into part of your soul's meaning and your soul's purpose, giving something more meaning. The 22 connects with destiny, so it connects with meaning. And for me, when something means something, it's so much more expansive. Meaning is one of those, tricks like willingness. Willingness is a trick. Okay. I'm willing. If I'm willing to do something, then it means I'm opening my mind a little bit or, moving out of my own rigidity or my own narrow mindedness and dogma. The trick here is really finding intimate partnership, whether it's friendship, work relationships, family, romance, whatever it may be, who are the people that you feel like you can really collaborate with in multiple areas in your life? Start there. And if you do have if let's say you're on the precipice of really wanting to leave a job and wanting to start something new, or you've really been struggling in a relationship and it may be time to say goodbye, to make some changes. The 22 is a great number to work with because the 2 is loving and compassionate and sensitive, and the 4 is strong and will take action and has that resolve. So the 22 is a good number to work with. And when I say work with it, you're like, okay, Amanda, what do you mean by work with it? Like, what do I do? Write it down on a piece of paper or, just think about the 22? Well, you can do all those things. But if you want to start working with the 22, write it down in your journal, write it down at the front of your journal and write some intentions out based in the attributes and the frequencies that you are interpreting through what I'm sharing with you, and then connect it to whatever change is happening in your life or what you're wanting to build. Write the 22 down and then connect it to what is coming up in your soul and how you can start to take practical action. one day at a time, one bite at a time, one step at a time. So writing it down would be a good thing, putting it like somewhere prominent in the front of a journal. Or, I mean, I do some really weird stuff when I'm working with energies and numbers. I might write the 22 down and put it in my phone case. No joke. Like I would stick it in the back of my phone case. If I wanted to tap into a number, energy or frequency, I would put it in my phone case. That's one I would do. I will like take a screenshot of that number and make it my wallpaper on my phone, or I'll put it on a post-it note in my mirror in the bathroom and maybe write out an I am statement or an intention that resonates with it. Get creative. Use if this energy is speaking to you right now, or you have it in your number code and you're really wanting to express it and be in that vibration and frequency that is about building something sacred in your life in one area or another, work with the actual number, because seeing the number code will help you remember to connect with the frequency. And the other thing is you could meditate with it. So when you sit down and do your meditations and you're listening to meditation music, or you are outside and there's a beautiful sunset, or going on a walk, or the sunlight's hitting your face, whatever that might be for you, just inhale and exhale the energy of the 22. Say, I'm connecting to the divine frequency of the master number 22. I am embodying my life's destiny. I am stepping into my life's work and meaning, or utilize your own words for however that may apply in your life today. Have fun with it, get creative with it. And lastly, I would say, let's say you again are curious about the 22 and this resonates with you and it's kind of lighting you up to do something great, to build something big, to give you the courage and momentum and the clarity of action to do it. Give it 6 months. Don't just work with this for 2 days. Literally commit, because the 22 is about commitment. It's about commitment not only over a lifetime, but over multiple souls' lifetimes. I mean, that's how broad and multidimensional the 22 is. So say, okay, for the next 6 months, I'm going to work with the energy of the 22 and just start by writing it down, writing intentions, and look to that number, like just writing it down and looking at it on your piece of paper, or calling the frequency into your meditation, or writing intentions that coincide with the energies and the attributes I've been connecting you with, see how it works, and then remember to be mindful of the blind spots. Notice when you are overworking, when you feel burnt out, when you're stubborn or rigid, when you're lacking openness, willingness, or collaboration, when you're competing, when you're impatient, when you're in perfectionism mode. So the 22 is gonna ask you to work, and not work in the sense of work harder. It's gonna ask you to tap into your greatness, and it will take some perseverance and some divine devotional dedication. So I encourage all of you to synthesize this, think about it, see how it applies in your life or resonates with you, and definitely reach out. Reach out if you resonate with the 22, or you have experiences that are definitely connected, or how you're working with it and how it is beginning to manifest in your attitudes, actions, behaviors, and experience. I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out at the email podcast@soulsessions.me. As always, thank you for joining me. Be well.